Oh, it's so beautiful. It makes me cry.
Oh, no, you can't have that.
Чё, бля?
Yeah, there's no bandit radio in the game.
No, not the best song ever, you Peter. What about using in-game music, yes?
We can't have that either. The content ID basically takes everything, so no music.
I repeat. Чё, бля? Ой, блин.
Oh, God. You have 10 magazines in that one, right?
What is a chamberlain? Okay, why do I need so many?
Yeah, bloodsuckers and pretty much all the other mutants have been hitting the gym on roids, so you better have that.
What the blin did I miss in 15 years?
Oh, and economy is in the shitter.
Blah.
Oh, and every gun we have is pretty much as durable as that airsoft toy you have.
Blah.
Oh, and everyone has British accents.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, except for you, Bandit. You are either Scottish or Irish. I can't tell.
Yo, Bonnie.
Oh, and that gun you have. We don't have that either.
No! Ой, блядь. Okay, what then has happened to the zone then?
What do you mean? I mean, just look at it.
Oh, blah.
Oh, but come on, we have good old guns, yes. And some new ones with cool animations. Yeah.
Oh, blah.
Oh, come on, there are now quests and side quests and side activities.
Oh, бля. Ну-ка, чики-брики в дамки.
Oh, but we don't have that either.
We're back to some quality cheeky breaky as Stalker 2 finally sees the light of day, and my oh my, does the game genuinely looks incredible. The amount of detail in these overblown textures as well as greatly detailed models make me really feel like it's one of those shitty overloaded unoptimized as fuck super duper high quality mods. But instead of mostly incompetent fan modders pumping up the 16K textures like bakeries running out of donuts and you're America's most obese man, now developers themselves are doing this too. And it honestly kind of works! Paired with photogrammetry and other realism replicating techniques, the zone of Stalker 2 beats even the fan-made Gamma mod with its overblown beauty improvements. Well, almost. But all this spectacle testicle comes at a cost, and that cost, like in any typical modern game, is the performance, and paradoxically, shitty visuals, because developers, following the industry standard today, didn't optimize shit. Or did they? Well, we'll take a look at that later. But the simple fact is, the game runs very poorly, and by which I mean it doesn't manage to hold frame rates above what common console peasantry is accustomed to. So either you enjoy pretty but Star Citizen-esque slideshow, or lean on so many garbage industry propped up crutches you might as well call yourself a walking trebuchet. Resolution scalers and fake frame insertions will return some of that performance, but make your game go from this to smeary, temporal, aliased, blurry garbage like this, which loses all the meaning of having the super quality textures and models in the first place. On the bright side, for the first time for Stalker series, it actually has a beginning, middle, and actual ending that hasn't been so undercooked that it's still clucking and laying eggs on the dinner plate. Moreover, each of the major characters' motivations and actions are made clear, and while the story of the Stalker has never been anything beyond just okay, at least animations, voice acting, and scenes make it interesting break from all the looting, shooting, and irradiating of one's own testicles for hopes of magical superpowers. Oh, and of course, let's not forget loads and loads of walking. So much that some people have started calling Stalker a walking simulator, because the zone itself is a proper open world too. No loading screens, a fucking miracle in today's age of what I can see in the industry, to even nice little character encounters and side quests which are dangerously close to reminding me of Skyrim. So, as you're let loose upon the zone, you run from location to location in search of guns, more guns, and upgrades for the guns. An occasional suit and artifact. And yet unknowingly, I got suckered into that perfect open world triangle fun of exploring, looting, and shooting. Well, that is until the brakes on this irradiated gravy train are slammed by the carry weight. And I need to stumble my ass back to the not-so-nearby trader to offload the literal liters of vodka, tons of stale bread, and overdue sausage for scraps of money that doesn't even cover half of repair costs for my equipment. Now that sort of a summary is done, I'll try, an emphasis on try, not to turn this into yet another hypercritical review spanning over an hour. Ah, fuck, I don't want to edit this! So, let's just delve in. Indeed, the level of detail in textures and even models is the most detailed I've ever seen in a production title. Well, sure, the game is not the biggest in open world or richest in mechanics, variety, assets, and funding. STALKER 2 still feels like a quality game.
Oh yes, you can even taste the paint chips. Just look at this. Oh, yummy, yummy.
This level of detail, thanks to photogrammetry and truly careful attention to detail in level design, is like no other I've seen. In 2007, with Shadow of Chernobyl, STALKER already managed to create a world that I praise to be beyond immersive, but truly atmospheric. That dilapidated Soviet-era time relics crumbling all over the place and nature taking over alone is evocative imagery. Like, really, it's cool. But pair that with radiation and more so anomalies filling the world, and you got an environment that's both interesting as well as challenging. And that's before we even introduce enemies to shoot at. And that's the power of great world building. Oh, and as for emissions, well, they kind of feel too tame. I mean, just look at this gamma footage. That's how you should do them. Like modders before, developers too are now pushing the photorealism of the series as possibly far as it could go, which is why the game looks so great. As well as the game taking up more space than the fucking modern Call of Duty games with over 150 gigabytes. Oh dear. Yet textures, details are just one thing. If all those models are pretty boxes and nothing more, well, it kinda loses the depth, now does it? Well, not in STALKER. The models have very precise collision boxes. Oh, no way! That is a collision box? It's so precise? No! Dude! Yes! Oh, and also these developers coded in this very rare FPS game feature called wallbanging. Oh, there actually is penetration! No way! There is penetration! Oh, there is actually penetration! Oh, that's so cool! There's even such a little detail like cat's eyes expanding and retracting depending on the light. Like, seriously, this level of detail I would call even unnecessary, but I mean, I respect the hustle at least. However,
Да what the bleed is this? Have you been to the woods? Why is it so red? This is not the red forest, yes? Where are the human pets? Where are the animal pets? Where are pets at all?
speaking of anomalies, they have always been amazing. Yet in STALKER 2, developers have further expanded on these wibbly-wobbly, radiation-filled magical hocus-pocus things. The needle anomaly, for example, while dangerous, can be circumvented if you just go slowly through it, while also protecting you while you're still inside it from monsters and bullets. Though it still damages your suit for some fucking reason. Other anomalies can be discharged with a thrown bolt, or if you listen to the legend, thrown grenade, which is the best idea. Yeah, go try it. But all of that is trumped by the best thing since Bandit Radio. Woo! Okay! Oh, this is such a cool trick. I love it. Did I perform it? Woo! Alrighty then. Oh, that's great. Woo! Alright, 100 meters easily done. Neat. Woo! Damn it, wrong place! Woo! Damn it! Okay, that works. Woo! There we go. Woo! Oh yeah. Please do not fix this. And that's not the only amazing addition either.
Find yourself in a dust with any of the faction. Either boss or
Holy shit! It actually is a mission.
Life.
Hey buddy, over here. Want to make some money?
Okay, fair enough. Whoa! Okay. Fucking Christ, Zeus! Piss off! Fuck you, Zeus! Which perfectly leads us into the sound design itself.
What is there?
However, there's something off. In the first 3 games, as you're walking around, you do feel the constant dread. But in Stalker 2, that feeling is kind of lost. Still, the sound effect change, like for example being indoors and then muffling everything that is outside or changing reverberation, adds that dynamic feel of the environment, even if it fucks up a lot, and you can still hear things through the ground that you shouldn't. I'd say it's more than most games attempt anyways. Hell, even those little sound effects as they're stepping on empty beer cans and bottles are a nice environmental touch, and that just shows that Stalker's developers have really paid attention to the crafting of a game world. Now granted, mostly it's bugged the fuck out, but it's still cool! Oh, and here's a funny thing, much like Cyberpunk, Stalker 2 forgot to put in glass shattering effect. Hold on. Okay. It's missing glass sound effect. Oh no, I just noticed. It does exactly the same thing as Cyberpunk did. Yeah, where are the sound effects? Hey, GSC. Again, sound effects. Where are they? Luckily, unlike Cyberpunk, it didn't take them over a year to fix that. And within the first month... But speaking of missing important sound effects... And more importantly, footsteps of characters, they're very muted at the best. And this one's very important because it helps you alert to enemies' presence nearby. However, instead we get this shit.
I'm hiding here.
And speaking of sound, music, be it ambient or direct songs that play in encampments of different factions, added to the tone and feel of the characters living in these spaces. Now granted, STALKER 2 has licensed over 100 music tracks from all manner of Ukrainian artists of different genres, which is really cool. Hell, even getting s.t.a.l.k.e.r's good old tunes back. However, they did not bring back the most important piece of music ever! Yep, the Bill Gopnik radio is not in the game. Why? You see, that music not only became a meme, but meme because it perfectly encapsulated the idiocy and funny nature of every bandit and some stalkers in the zone, which directly contrasted the dour and depressing tone of the world. It was perfect, but nope, we don't have it. Oh, and speaking of, Ganja the Freedom Stoner also got shafted. And the freedom is...
Come by next week. We're expecting some real high-class herb that'll get you higher than high.
Freedom member! Together, we will save the zone!
Oh, a new face? Come here. I'll pour you a drink on the house. In exchange for some cash, of course.
But you know what makes the game even worse than not having iconic music? Not having music at all. Really? Did they put all the copyrighted music in? And radio doesn't play anything? Oh, that's kinda lame. At least one copyright-free music could be done, right? No? Fuck. So clearly STALKER 2 developers learned from Cyberpunk at least something. So then why not learn that the music is necessary? At least something! For characters and factions to have their iconic tones and tunes. Again, I want the bandit radio, damn it! But you know, most of all, the thing that ruined the world building almost exclusively, for me, was this.
Hey, Elbow. Here's a quick update. We had some sketchy stalkers snooping around.
He's right there. Inside the anomaly. Bring me. Gran. How about a toast to my bro?
You do anything VRam doesn't like. I'll squeeze the life out of you.
Did you notice what was wrong with that? No? Well, let me show you.
Наверняка бы подались бы в сталкеры. А там и до ужаса, который вы увидели совсем недалеко. Да, но у меня есть верное средство. Поскольку переэкзаменовка по математике так и не сдана, то вы будете отчислены и пойдете служить. И никаких монстров. Ну, кроме разве что дедов.
Guys, I'm sending someone your way, so wing it. You may attack if necessary. Over.
All right, Wolf, send him in. As long as he stays out of the way. Out.
Обалденно.
Even a kid could handle it. I've set up 2 measuring devices on this silo. The catch is, they need to be activated simultaneously.
Why the fucking English voice actors are British? This is a massive tonal fuck-up. And not only because I hate how British ruined their own language and can't seem to learn how to properly pronounce words, but this is Eastern Europe. The Slavic accent is important. See, the reason why STALKER series felt so different and authentic was because characters outside of translated cutscenes and messages talked in location-appropriate language, namely Ukrainian, and even when translated, they'd have heavy accent. It was great.
I said come in. Don't stand there. It's off.
Damn it, if only someone helped.
Also, each faction in STALKER had their own tonal slants. For example, bandits were proper Gopniks, the Slavic hooligans, with Duty and military were hardened, serious characters that didn't use bullshit words like those.
Gunflash, top left! Freaks to -1.
And you could tell immediately. While mercs were more American sounding, and in most cases, actually would be voiced that way.
So one bad thing about being up front, no women.
The voice acting in original games, though a bit silly and a bit more cartoonish, managed to still convey perfectly the Eastern European melancholic and downright depressing social attitude towards life, even inside the zone. But for Stalker 2, GSC seems to have decided to outsource the voice work for English version to some shit-ass British company that literally phoned in every single performance they had. And I think they even attempted to insult the Scottish by using their accents for the low-life bandits. Honestly, feels like an intentional subtext at this point. Oh, and the bandit radio wasn't the only casualty. This line only appears in Ukrainian voice version. While in English version, the AI literally yells out the dumbest fucking voice lines I've ever heard.
I'm hiding here!
Seriously, GHC, you should have just done the same thing you did with the previous games. Use heavy, even if stereotyping Slavic accent voice acting. At least that would be funny. See, the zone is Eastern Europe, and we should be hearing at least accents. It just makes the environment and the place in the world a little bit more authentic and unique.
Did you do this? I'm talking to you, guy. Did you waste our body, Timoja? Bullshit! You think you can off our bro like that and act all innocent? We need to bury him. And funerals ain't cheap. Give me some cash. Or would you rather join him?
What am I? A joke to you?
Because clearly, you guys seem to be very interested in being authentic, don't you? So you don't translate the road signs or random messages on the walls, yet you allow this outsourced low-tier voice actor company to butcher the tone of the game? Bandits should be gopniks. Freedom should be stoners.
High-class herb that'll get you higher than high.
Stalkers should be depressed.
Damn it, if only someone helped me.
And mercs should feel foreign.
So one bad thing about being up front, no women.
And military, yeah, well, that one has been changed into something more generic for obvious war-related reasons.
Oi, blah, but that's small stuff. Small. Everyone wants the proper good gameplay, and that'll be good enough. And stalkers, oh, those want guns. Yes, and we got a lot of them.
Right off the bat, unlike the previous Stalker games, the movement in Stalker 2 actually feels natural. Even if Skiff can barely sprint for 200 meters on full stamina bar. Luckily, there's a brand deal advertisement ready to help you out. The non-stop energy drink, which you'll be chugging by a boatload. Crap. Eat faster. Combat snack! Crap! Oh, shashlik! Fuck yeah! Oh, now I want some shashlik. Anyways, gameplay. Well, it's exemplary. At least in theory. You see, Stalker games operate on the gear-based progression, not some bullshit RPG leveling magical hocus pocus. This is great. Well, at least so long as the loot and enemies are good. For example, here's how you're gonna play for the first time. But by the second time, or while watching videos, guides, and maps, you'll optimize. Which is great. See, because of the knowledge of the game world, because you know the game so much better, you can make your gameplay easier by picking the best stuff immediately, not through some artificial grinding. However, this also reveals just how much useless loot is out there, at least on the launch, which kinda tips the hand of Stalker 2.
An empty glass bottle of sausage? What kind of debil calls this proper Habar, блядь? Vadim, was that you?
Sure, there's crappy loot and easier enemies in the starting areas, while harder enemies and better gear the further you go up north. Personally, I love this kind of progression style because it's so hard to get right, but the rewards for taking that extra step and not resorting to lazy tactics like level scaling, be it for loot and enemies, creates an amazing world with backbone, a foundation that is set in stone, and you, the player, can rely upon it. Do not fuck you over. Like for example in Soulsborne games. Sure, you can kill the god with your starter broken, rusted up sword, but it's gonna be hard as fuck. But you can make the challenge easier if you sacrifice a little bit of time exploring, collecting better gear, which improves your odds of survival. And this is what I mean about the grind should not be a substitute for challenge and progression of a game. Sure, to make the game easier, grind should exist as a crutch, an alternative to skill-based gameplay, but never replace it, or be the only option. And this is why most, if not all, games that has grind-based progression exclusively suck so hard. And level scaling opponents as well as weapons is just the stupidest fucking thing ever, where the game designer admits not knowing how to balance a game in the first place. And this is why all the Stalker games and their worlds are so fun. Well, I guess with the exception of the difficulty part, as the AI sucks ass. And Stalker 2, sadly, is no different. So, the AI. Again, like in Shadow of Chernobyl back in the day, the AI still is wall hacking hard. However, there are a few cool additions, like the animations, and for example, the human AI when you're face to face with a gun. But anyways, AI still sees you through the walls, which makes the same mistake as the original game. And doing something like this is impossible.
When I find you, it's going to be bad.
Now sure, technically all AI is literally just Roombas with aimbot. However, the better AI is, the less noticeable the Roomba aimbot effect really is. And in Stalker, oh boy!
I need to reload!
Yeah, the penetration's a bit fucked, especially when AI can see you through the fucking walls again! Oh, come on, GSC, you haven't learned from your last AI, seriously. Yeah, love it. Yep, this is great, right? Although while out-of-combat AI seems to be so lobotomized that the surgery seems to have disabled their self-preservation sense, as they casually walk into anomalies. Which makes it even funnier when the mutant AI actively avoids these anomalies.
You know, something feels cut down.
So, yeah, this is not the only clue we have of what's going on with the game. And speaking of that, stealth. It, exists? Question mark? So, there are stealth takedowns in Stalker. Yeah, I honestly didn't know until I saw it on Reddit. Because the first time I attempted the backstab during the launch period, never triggered, so I thought it was cut. However, the AI is so cut down that it doesn't seem to respond to sound at all. Okay, a loud-ass gunshot and they didn't notice? Yeah, stealth, ladies and gentlemen. Loud-ass 545 shot. My buddy's alright. He's just, he's taking a good blood. Right? Yeah. My buddy is taking a good blood. ladies and gentlemen, that's the level of AI and their ability to notice things in Stalker.
If it weren't for his orders, I'd be buried under the Duga. Maybe if you quit, they won't have to cut your paycheck. He was trying.
Yeah, so Stalker either have stealth or don't. Anything in between really sucks. And worst of all, this fact that stealth doesn't exist is shoved in our faces in at least 2 separate story events. Yeah, the AI doesn't notice flashlights at all. Oh, come on!
What the hell?
I don't like this.
Jesus Christ, I didn't notice? What? Hold on, that was stealth? Stalker, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, that's how bad it is. So yeah, clearly there was or is a plan for proper stealth AI detection, but on the launch, clearly, it's not the only thing being cut. Case in point.
The zone's not the same anymore. You hear a lot of that, don't you?
In Stalker series, the A-Life system is an NPC daily routine type management system that tries to add the so-called life to the zone, allowing NPCs and mutants to move from place to place rather than spawning a random encounter as player approaches a location. It never worked, or rather, never worked like intended. Be it A-Life in Lost Alpha, Shadow Chernobyl, Clear Sky, or Call of Pripyat, it always seemed to be either cut down or was thoroughly unfinished. However, in Stalker 2 with the A-Life 2.0, it's really no different, yet worse at the same time. So, yeah, do you remember Cyberpunk on launch and the cops in it?
Got lead coming at me! Open fire!
Yeah, so that's exactly how A-Life 2.0 works for roaming NPCs outside of the towns, be those friend or foe. And now, a month later with 1.13 update, NPCs spawn a little bit further than right next to you. However, thanks to the shit AI, it's still bad. Basically, you'll notice when the game constantly spawns hostile NPCs near you, and because the AI has wall hacks and not a proper vision, they will immediately notice you and start attacking. So the open world of Stalker will feel like more of a time bomb riddled speedrun. And all of them, especially when mutants are spawned, waste your ammo, health, and most importantly, durability of the gear. However, there is potential. Throughout playing Stalker 2, the constant nagging idea kept creeping up on my mind. This open world, the random quests and side activities remind me awfully lot of Skyrim. You know, the greatest parts, not the shit. All that Stalker 2 needs is to fix and expand a little bit on the concept. It's just so close. And you know what? It might just be. Yes, A-Life 2 was also cut down. Heavily so. Developers even admitted this. We were fighting with optimization. To optimize, you have a lot of things that need your resources, and you try to cut things from different directions to properly optimize the game well. However, unlike certain other developers of certain other games I have mentioned already, GSC are willing to admit this, and god damn it does it not endear them to me even more. Sure, I'm a big fan of the series, so I'm willing to give these guys a chance. And from the first month of the patches we got, it's rather clear these guys really care and are already showing the first steps not to only finish the development, as it should be, but also iterate on existing parts. But enough of the hopeful what-ifs of the future. Let's talk about some more fuck-ups. Starting off with my biggest annoyance with certain open-world games, and the term I coined, world reactive. So, in Stalker 2, there is a reputation system for factions. However, unlike the previous games, this version is kinda pointless. See, in old games, it was a simple point-based system. You shoot up some factions dudes and you lose massive points. You do some missions for them or revive dudes, you get positive points. It was a very basic system that sucked ass, but managed to fill out the world a little bit. In Stalker 2, however, you can shoot up whatever you want and build up bad rep, then in GTA fashion, fuck off and let it cool down, and upon return, no one seems to care. Meh. Come on, Fenya. Meh. 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 Veggie is very thick. Basically put, it has no long-lasting consequences and ultimately feels meaningless. And speaking of meaningless, murder hoboing is also pointless now. Say for example, like in the original games, you simply attack everyone. In Shadow Chernobyl it was great, except for the times when it got confused when you started killing everyone in the bar, but otherwise you could progress through the story, no problem if you killed everyone. It was great, even if there were no real consequences for the story implications, like for example in Baldur's Gate 3. As for Stalker 2, let's say you attempt to wipe out Zalicia completely. Once the combat starts, all the NPC trader houses get locked, and okay, that's understandable. However, the game decides to keep on spawning infinite amount of NPCs that basically through attrition wear you down until you leave or die, and now that's lame. And yet again I'm forced to remember the fucking Cyberpunk cops on launch. Also lame is the fact that you can't kill certain NPCs anymore because story expects them to take part later on. And I guess we are spoiled by Baldur's Gate 3, but can I kill this NPC and... Ah, no! No. But fuck me, is it too hard to write a story where everyone is killable? Imagine just how interesting the game would be if, where by accident or on purpose, you could both make mistakes and deliberately fuck-ups, and the game would still account for it. And speaking of that, in some quests you are actually given options to impact the outcomes, you know, consequences. Take for example Sultan's side quest. Sonya asks you to take out Beard and Sultan. However, you can't just contact either one of them and tell you that Sonya betrayed them. Nor can you arrive at their meeting and tattletale on her. Nor can you kill Sonya anywhere else. You have to go on the crane for the sniping spot. And you have to kill Buzzard, the Sultan's sniper. Hell, you can't even just make sure that only one of them dies and save the other one, making them the kingpin. The side quest will kill both of them regardless. In fact, to betray Sonya, you have to wait out the meeting completely.
What the? Get away from the windows!
It's in bad taste to leave a job unfinished, Skiff. But that's alright, my boys have your back.
I mean, at this point it would have taken exactly the same amount of effort to account for the player's choices and doing wacky things than to script all of this crap. So then why bother? So yeah, it's pretty shit that you need to make choices in specifically predetermined points. But hey, at least they do matter to some degree, unlike some other open world games I know. Yet still, Baldur's Gate 3 and Fallout New Vegas looms over this sad attempt of giving the player so-called choice like a planet-sized shadow. Well, at least NPCs still demand you get your gun out of their face.
Put down the gun.
And will even come up to you and smack you if you keep doing it. Hey! And if you still insist on being a debil, they will attack you openly. Oh! So everyone starts shooting if you're just simply unloading. Okay, that's an interesting behavior. Too bad that nearly no NPC actually does this, and it seems to be yet another bugged feature. But hey, it sometimes triggers, so it is already in there, so it just needs fixing. And speaking of player freedom and personal annoyances, why the fuck did you guys choose to emulate Bethesda? Why take players' freedom away in conversations? Why make it a locked-in talking screen? Did you guys not play Cyberpunk? I guarantee you did. So did you learn nothing? The so-called dialogue camera is just so annoying. Please, stop it. Stop it.
Well then stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
When it's not the human NPCs, it'll be the mutants that'll get on your nerves. On launch, all the mutants were literal walking tanks that would take 5 buckshots to the face and still tear your testicles out with modest glee. And it would only get worse when A-Life System decided to spawn endless stream of bloodsuckers with their overblown health pools. It was nothing but a nightmare to deal with. And pair that with basic AI, all the players basically resorted to doing this. Okay, surround myself with needles. Come on, you fuck. Where are you, huh? Scared to go in needles, huh? You shit. There are 3 of them! Are you fucking kidding me? And that's 4. Any more? No? Fuck you all! Oh no, no, not... No! No, not another... God fucking damn it, you piece of... 5! And do I hear 6? Oh, do I hear 6? Oh, 1, 2, 3. Do I hear 4? Yes, I do. And do I hear 5? Stalker? Oh, yes, I do hear 5. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, bloodsuckers. They used to be really cool and terrifying creatures. Now they're just fodder.
I've only got 1 mag left. Enough for the likes of you, but not for a bloodsucker.
And when it comes to the most badass mutant in the world, chimeras, you better pray to the great black man in the sky you never encounter one. Or worse, psy-dogs. No, come on! Jesus Christ, these side dogs. Fucking Christ. Oh, fuck yeah, the AI is stuck. Lovely. At least this way I can kill it. Yeah, welcome to side dog hell. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to fight this shit? However, within the first month, the patches addressed most of the insane health pools and other issues, but not all of them. Seriously, who playtested this game balance? It's really beyond me. Hold on, did you even playtest this? Well, at least Snorks, though not sounding like Snorks, still funny, super fun, and super careless, yet also kinda most threatening to fight since they can actually jump in places, and I love them for it. So then, if the AIs have broken, half finished, and offers unbalanced gameplay, but the world is beautiful as hell, it would be a shame if it was let down by the gameplay too. Luckily, however, when it comes to looting, Stalker has always been like a crack cocaine to residents of LA. Majority of Stalker's gameplay has always revolved around running around, occasionally firing your gun in a brief spurts of action, and then proceeding to pick the dead bodies clean, along with anything that's not nailed down in the nearby buildings or monster caves. Your gloves and your pants all change depending on what armor you are picking. This constant propensity to keep looting, looking for more gear and goodies is what makes Stalker's gameplay just so much fun. However, these Stalker 2 level designers have gone not just a step, but a marathon beyond just simply putting some stashes here and there, but making literally every location a little bit different. Even going so far as to put little pieces of loot in very unconventional places, which not only makes the world a little bit more lived in and not robotically designed, but more so trains the player to pay attention to everything and look everywhere, while rewarding the keen eye. You thought I wouldn't look, did ya? But I mean, that's such a little detail for loot itself, right? And the level design. It clearly shows that the level designers cared. A little bit of ammo here, a little bit of ammo there, and you think, oh, hold on, if there is something there, there might be something behind it. And yeah, there was! There was a really good shotgun too. I mean, just... yes! And this kind of rewarding attention to detail leads to the player to simply explore every single room, nook and cranny, and before you know it, this offers a genuinely emergent exploratory gameplay that often results in finding little Easter eggs and interesting environmental design. Yep, that's all we wanted. For example, the player notices that, oh, there's an ammo box inside of a table where there used to be a drawer. That means that the level designers probably could have put all the other kind of little ammo boxes in all sorts of places, so I must check them. And before you know it, the player is exploring the world as well. And remember, this is not special, this is not genius, and this is not even great. It's just plain good use of loot and handcrafted environments. There's no need for the items to glow or be placed in systematically predictable crates, for the fear that the player won't recognize what is and is not pick-upable. This is the good old trust that the level designers put on players to use their brains rather than insulting their intelligence by putting highlighting colors glowing everywhere, so that even the goddamn babies would understand. However, now we must talk about the loot itself. Stalker, despite being an open world game, is kind of one note. The loot and the gameplay itself revolves around one thing: the guns.
Ой, бля, do I love guns! What more would I want except more guns?
Yeah, well, if you expected anything more like crafting or building systems, or just any kind of random item to decorate something, or just anything, really, that would go beyond combat-related loot, tough luck, there isn't any. But hey, if like me, you're into guns...
Блин. Do I love guns? I want more of them!
So, yeah, the series has always paid a certain attention to weapons and love for them, and their functionality, which has further inspired a certain fanbase, shall we say, that went on to go hog wild on the hardcore milsim-esque devotion to firearms and the hardcore FPS gameplay. Escape from Tarkov and numerous mods of original games being the ultimate gun-crazy endpoint that the Stalker series has spawned. It pretty much tells you all you need to know about how gun-nutty the fanbase is.
Oh, yes, my sweet, sweet. Yes, do I... I love you so much, yes. Oh, nobody is gonna take you away from me,
Hey,
yes.
you know that gun is not in the game, right?
No! You're not gonna take it away from me, no!
Sure, Stalker 2 in comparison feels like more of a normie version of how far Escape from Tarkov or Stalker modded versions have pushed the gun mechanics. It still offers incredible amount of detail that you will be hard pressed to find anywhere else. Different ammo types, unloading weapons for extra ammunition, gun jamming, physical bullets, and attachments alone indicate this. Most of all, the level of animation detail only speaks just how much developers realize what the players loved about the series. It's nothing but heartwarming and cool to see. That's the silliest thing ever. However, there are major fuck-ups too. For example, the chambered cartridge when changing ammo does not get ejected. And for shotguns, it's especially weird. Right, so I got one buckshot and one slug ammo piece. Okay, now watch what happens. So let's load in a buckshot, okay? Yep, there's one. Loaded in the magazine. Now let's switch ammo. And suddenly I have two. Aha! Suddenly I've converted the buckshot to slug ammo. When in the original Stalker, you could actually load multiple different types of ammo in the shotgun's magazine. Unloading weapons from the backpack has no animation. Then bullet drop is insane for proper long-range cartridges like 308, which indicate a certain game balancing design that I'm not fond of. No! 308! Drops like a goddamn BB rock. Jesus, is this airsoft?
What did we do? This was our group with the Ruger American. A 4.5-inch group at 200 yards. That's not the greatest group you ever seen.
I've only got a 5.56 clip to spare.
Thanks, bro.
Wait,
now
hold
I
on.
can drive those
A
damn
clip?
flashes away.
A 5.56? 5.56 clip? 5.56 clip? Stalker! What the fuck? Pistol suppressor and pistol silencer. Silencer is a brand, technically. Come on, Stalker, you could do better. Then the attached laser pointers start bending as soon as you start sprinting like one other open world game in recent times, making me consider that all these developers are sniffing each other's farts. You can see the gun, right? Focus on the gun. Now look at the cheek pad area. Why is it stretching? What? This is nothing to do with FOV as far as I know. It shouldn't be... Should be... Can't be that this is due to the FOV. And when it comes to upgrading your weapon, what the fuck is even going on with that? Because most of the upgrades could just as well be attachments, but they're not. What the hell? And then, of course, there's the gun durability. The realism in this case is just simply thrown out of the window to facilitate bullshit game design ideology that serves to only annoy the player.
Have you seen the prices for repairs? To say nothing of new gear.
So, yeah, now we have to talk about the economy and game balance. The price is bullshit.
What the hell, чики-пальчики, курва, бобер,
Alright, блин. Okay. I brought all of these guns. How much are you gonna give me for them? They're okay quality.
Well, how about 3 coupons?
What the blin?
I don't know if GSE didn't playtest or has some bizarre way of playing the game, but basically you go out, loot everything imaginable, return and sell everything, and you're still not able to fix one weapon and your main armor, let alone upgrade anything. And I'm not talking about the most expensive game gear item, I'm talking more about MP5 or AK or a shotgun and a Seva suit. That's it. Thankfully, that changed. A little bit after the first few patches. But when you remember that mutants drop absolutely nothing, and the insane amount of damage to your gear's durability, even in simple anomalies, makes you question. How in the big pizdец gonna Gopnik shoot a fellow peeder in the face without constantly thinking, blin, it's gonna cost me 1,000 coupons, blin. Even now, with the minor rebalance, it's still insane. You see, I play as a complete loot goblin, picking up every single thing, piece of loot and whatever you have. And I can't keep up a single loadout. So what I ended up resorting to was simply never fixing my armor at all. And even then I'm starving. Or maybe I should say I have tons of food, drinks, meds, hell, even bullets. So much so that I ended up selling a lot of it, and that's not even enough. And that makes me think that the world was supposed to have more high-value items that got simply cut for the release of the game, and replaced by all the food items as a temporary measure. And sure, I understand the developer precarious situation, but the sad reality is, most stashes are just garbage because of this.
Так, квас, колбас, and that's it? Блядь, again with this shit? Vadim, блядь!
And funnily enough, people have already uncovered some items like binoculars and other detectors in the game files already. So yeah, the loot is minimal, just so that the game would release. However, what seems to be as backwards is the durability of weapons. So let's do a test. How many bullets do you think an M4 needs to shoot before it starts jamming?
But one test showed that the HK had only 233 stoppages out of 60,000 rounds fired, compared to the M4's 882 stoppages.
Now I get it, in game designers' mind it's like, well, if a player is doing constantly something, that means it's active gameplay, and that is good. You know, if the player do nothing, it means bad gameplay. And to that practice, fuck no! This is the pitfall of modern corporate generic game design. And sure, it's more interesting when you have things to do. However, needless busy work that is just there to annoy the player so that you have quote-unquote something to do is exact opposite of good gameplay. See, the durability in most video games with degrading gear is used to force the player to visit a town to fix the gear. But in Stalker games, you would do that regardless to sell off the garbage you find, so there is no need to force the player. In fact, the durability after the first few patches is still so bad that you can't complete one full proper story dungeon without most guns completely breaking. So at the end of the dungeon, when you need to fight a boss monster or something, guess what happens with your gameplay? And that's definitely not fun. But hey, at least the melee is better for the game, so you can smack that monster in the face with a gun bash, which also exists and is cool. However, it also decreases the gun's durability, which, yeah, well, fair enough, I suppose. However, unlike in old Stalker games, when you drop a gun on the floor into an anomaly, shoot it, or throw a grenade on it, back then it would decrease its durability. However, today, that's not the case. Oh, come on, that was such a neat feature. And that's exactly the problem with gun jamming in Stalker 2. Unlike in, say, Dark Souls, the AI attack timing is not, well, let's call it synchronized. Yep, okay, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Yep, I don't, yep. Ah, lovely. Ah, smack me, daddy. Oh, smack me. Oh, daddy. Yes, please. I'm chugging drugs and getting smacked. Ah, lovely. Ooh, oh, daddy, yes. So that you have the time to reload anything. For example, so in order to dodge either Chimera or damn pseudo-giants, you have to sprint, and that interrupts reloading. So for most weapons, you're simply not given any time to reload. All the while, their health pool is so massive, which leads to basically players exploiting the AI. Now you can. Okay, here we go. You can jump on this, and that's it. One magazine, 2 magazines, 3 magazines, 4 magazines, 5 magazines, 6 magazines, 7 magazines, 8? No! No, 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 no. 9! Excuse me! 9 by 40 plus 11. How? What? Did anyone playtest this? Excuse me! And now the pistol goes. I'm sorry, what? Oh! 100 pistol bullets on top. Jesus Christ. Sure, Dark Souls or Doom Eternal attack timing and AI synchronization can feel a bit robotic. However, if it's done right, it can be seamless and fair, and in fact very good way of doing it right.
Okay, GSC, you like gun like Buggy does, right? Okay, so you shoot at some suka, pew pew pew, and then you run out of bullet. Oh no! Then you take out magazine. Okay, but suka rush biblin, and so you run, and then you stop in a safe place. Oh no! Magazine back in! What magic anomaly is this? So reload is 3 things. Take out, put in, cock.
As for durability as a whole, gun jamming should only happen when the player is out for a long trip, or simply being very negligent on their gear. Economy-wise, you can increase the repair costs and durability health so that you simply need to repair fewer times. The gun would jam less, yet it would still be the same cost on your wallet. But all the smaller and larger gameplay annoyances you immediately set aside as soon as you encounter something unique. And oh boy, the open world is full of interesting and incredible wonders. Even if loot, today at least, mostly sucks ass with rare glimmers of gold, you still walk about sniffing every corner of the zone. I already gushed how open world is really cool and nice, but it's made even better thanks to the level designers seemingly utterly loving their job. Oh my god. I see what they did. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh. Every single one. God damn it. Oh, well, at least I see you. Piece of shit. Wait, what? Oh, fucking Christ. Oh, come on. Fuck. Oh, that's a dick move. Ah, for fuck's sakes. Oh, are you kidding me? You can hear the level designers laughing at you. That's how well most of the locations are made, and most don't even have any quest activities in them. Even if there are hints that there are supposed to be some of them. Yeah, but this especially, you can feel that something's been cut quite heavily. Hey! Hey! That's the correct fuse for that. Hey, don't laugh! It works, right? However, what makes Stalker 2's open world just that little bit more, even more fucking amazing, beyond just really well and lovingly designed environments and loot placement, is the fact that the level designers seemingly love the game even more than you do. So here's an example you can find across the whole zone. So you walk into a village or a random location and you see a multi-story building or something tall, and you think, well, there's probably something inside, but you know what would be really cool? If I could get on top of it, because, you know, why not? We all like to just get on top of things, because we're just people. Hold on. Hold on. No. No. This game tells, hey, there's a big cooling tower. Would you like to go on top of it? Hold on a second. No. Oh, for the love of... Unbelievable. I can hear the level designer laughing. Alright, so yeah, you see the cooling tower. Oh, would you like to go on top of it? No. This is so cool. I mean, it'd be cooler if it was morning, but... Oh, and there's loot on top. Of course there would be. I mean, hell. Level designer, you bastard. And then in the distance you see something really tall and think to yourself, oh, it would be nice if... And yes, you can get on top of the goddamn thing and level designers say, come, take a look at how amazing the game looks. Oh, there's... Yes! they have the Dark Souls fast sliding. Oh, that's great. It's like these developers themselves love to do urban exploration and want to share this love with you, which is why there are so many ladders to get on top of buildings, let alone just getting inside and looking around. Okay, I just have to take a moment. There's just something so goddamn powerful with just seeing these Soviet-era garbage houses. The thing is, here in Latvia, we have plenty of them still around. Ah! Alright, so let's do the funny. Oh, that fucking ass Creed movie. Just a piece of shit. Anyways, moving on. And the reason this is so notable is because it is in such a stark contrast to certain open world games, most notably Cyberpunk or Starfield of recent times. They have these buildings and big open worlds, but it feels so restrictive because once you get above the street level, there's barely anything, let alone be designed to be accessible. But Stalker 2 invites you to explore and look at these things, even putting some cool stuff in the places you don't think should be accessible, to reward you for it. This is what a labor of love looks like, and I'll be damned if I don't gush about the awesomeness of it. And more than any aspect of Stalker 2, the level design, though not genius, is just good and convinces me that though the game, yes, is very cut down on release, they will stick with it and deliver more things. And potentially, maybe, hopefully, who knows, beat Skyrim and Fallout. However, for that the world does need to react more to your actions. But even on the basic level, after you clean out a location, there really is no reason to return to it, which is kind of a problem with many open worlds. While in original Stalker games you had replenishing stashes, which were kind of a nice little thing, I'd prefer more proper quests, random encounters, or side activities to go along with the loot, as a good reason to revisit a location. And another note, the day-night cycle. It's still too short, even after the first few patches. See, most of your Stalker 2 gameplay will consist of bleak, dark, stormy tones, or nighttime, while the daylight that truly makes the game look utterly gorgeous will be a true rarity, and that's just, honestly, a shame and a waste.
I already checked the building. There's nobody there.
We'd rather double check it. Maybe you didn't look hard enough. If the monolithian left the building, we'll go after him. All right, we're coming in. We have to gang up on him.
Ah, damn it!
And speaking of quests, this is the first Stalker game that actually has a story that makes sense, and has an actual conclusion that's not rushed as fuck or farted out of existence. And most of all, cutscenes with motion capture are really fun. Not great, but still fun. And no wonder, as the movie director for Hardcore Henry and Nobody took part in creation of the game, even playing the role of Nimble. And you can tell the cool motion capture scenes being directed with care and love. Though out of cutscene facial animations, especially for the launch on English version, those were bloated and bizarre.
I knew you could do it. Well, okay, I didn't really know, but...
Oh, pretty good, eh? I didn't expect anyone to step in for me. That's rarer than Mama's beats around here.
And while sure Cyberpunk was better directed and scripted, Stalker 2 does come close, especially in random NPC facial. Oh, but speaking of characters, they're really well done. They're not the deepest characters, but the Dr. Kershaw Strelok, Faust especially, and most of all, my boy Scar are really captivating on the screen. Each of their personalities and motivations seeps through the presentation, and that's so nice to see. And yes, Cyberpunk is still better in the cinematographic department, but Stalker 2 seems to take a lot of notes from it, and that's just a great thing. In fact, until I looked it up, I thought that the male voice actor for V was also playing English Skiff, but actually no, that's a different guy.
These your wheels? So what good will my balls do us today?
I've got what you've asked for. It's amazing this lamp is still intact.
Uh-huh. How's that exactly?
I've seen what this piece of shit is capable of.
Let's have another one. Sure.
Also, Ukrainian Skiff's voice actor. Oh, lovely.
Я приніс те, що ти просив. Дивно, що ця лампа досі ціла. Я бачив, на що здатен цей шмат лайна.
As for the story itself, well, honestly, it's a miracle, while paying a sincere and brief homage to the old games.
Why are you drinking all alone? Something happened?
Yeah, about 20 years ago. See that foundation? It's a grave, Stalker. A mass grave. You've heard of the second disaster, right? That's what they call the very first emission. The one that created the zone. It happened back in 2006. They sent in the military to blow the whole place to Kingdom Come. I was one of the first to get here. I served with Tachenko's company. It was a hell I'll never forget. We were totally unprepared. Nobody knew anything. We had no detectors, no protection. So many of our men died. Tachenko was told there was no extraction coming. so he ordered us to bury the dead. We found some intact equipment, collected the bodies, and poured concrete over them. Then Tachenko told HQ to fuck off and found a duty. That's a piece of our history, Lorna.
Today's GSC managed to craft a solid and, more importantly, well-told story that does not get bogged down with garbage exposition or bad dialogue. Stalker does a decent job, ending up being pretty nice, but nothing special, not wasting your time and just getting to the point. Unlike a certain other uncreative, incompetent hacks! But as for the story itself, well, Stalker 2 deals with the zone itself and who gets to control it, basically. However, there is an interesting plot point in the first half of the game where you get to explore the remnants of Monolith and the faction and people behind it. You know, the mind-controlled hive mind. Without the lead, now are just people. And I thought that that was really cool. However, that lasted for about 2 seconds before we are back to Monolith being hive mind killer squad. God damn it. As for the new factions of Spark, led by Crazy Scar, and the duty military replacements of Wardens, both being honestly kinda boring. Spark could have just as well been Freedom, and Ward could have been duty/military, rather than needing to shaft both of them, making them into nothing burgers and inventing new ones to replace them. But anyways, do you remember this guy from the pre-release trailers? Yeah, that's actually s.t.a.l.k.e.r in the game. It was a nice little red herring for the trailers back in the day. But yeah, if there was one thing that annoyed me about the story, it was the point of no return. See, after the game ends and you pick one of the endings, and yes, there are multiple, after running out of quick saves and autosaves, you cannot return otherwise. So better make sure to always make a manual save there. You've been warned. And of course, because we're talking about the story, there's something the dipshits on the internet will definitely be talking the most, and in fact, when the trailers released, they were. There are now black stalkers? Yes, the darkies have invaded. The fucking game has gone woke or something. Hell, there are even female characters as well, and some of them are ugly too. Yes, Stalker has gone woke. Boycott it. Oh god, I can only take this much retardation in one go. So yeah, I can't take this lobotomized bullshit seriously, so let's just move on. Though, granted, it was understandable why original Stalker games had nothing but dudes. It was just simply easier to make, right? But for Stalker 2 to see a few female characters is actually refreshing. However, above all, it is a bizarre thing that Stalker games never included the Slavic over God, the Babushka, with the ultimate quest, the quest for the perfect zone's compote. Garnier. Oh yeah, no, that'd be a great quest and a character I'd love to have. Babushka, I don't know, Galia. The zone needs at least one Slavic god. Come on, GSC. But speaking of side quests and side activities, they are so nice to have, and some of them are really good too.
There's a mutant on the loose out there, Stalker. The freak must be some kind of music fan.
I mean, okay, granted, the original Stalker games had nothing but nondescript missions like kill 10 boars or this mutant or whatever, and the alternative to that was really just the main story. So now even having a simple character telling you to help him out with anecdotes to shoot the shit around the campfire is amazing and wholesome. And it helps the world to grow a little bit of more character, which is so nice.
So a stalker walks into a bar, takes a seat, and the bartender asks him, "How do you save a noontide from drowning?" "I don't know," the stalker says. "How?" The bartender goes, "You don't! The monolith's calling him to rock bottom."
Huh, not bad. Well, what are you waiting for? Take a seat. I might not be a bartender, but I can fix you a drink.
Though once more we run into the problem of having far too few of them around the zone, and it feels like majority has been cut for the release. Right, try number 2. No! No! He's dead! No! But hey, if my theory about cut content is correct, I seriously cannot wait for more of them to appear. I love these encounters, and more than anything, these give me nostalgia vibes from Skyrim, and how cool it was to just walk the road and get those random encounters. So at this point, if Stalker gets the A life sorted and adds random encounters, quests, while walking on the road or footpaths, oh gods, it will be great. But that's just hopeful thinking. Stop it, Yamiks. Wait, what? What? Yeah. Not very good AI. Half-Life managed to code this stuff already years ago. Hey, Max. It's nice that you're so forward, but, I'm not... no, I'm not that kind of a person there. But speaking of those random encounters and NPCs as a whole...
Talk to our boss.
Talk to our boss.
Yeah, I hated this squad idea from Call of Pripyat already, but in Stalker 2 it's very noticeable just how empty random NPCs are, when the only thing you can ask them is some random rumors, while other NPCs recycle bad jokes, especially bad jokes in English. No, that's not really a compliment.
Wait till you laugh your asses off when I tell you some home base shit. Wait till you laugh your asses off when I tell you some home base shit. Fucking hilarious. Some home base shit. Some home base shit. Some home base shit. Some home base shit.
Vasily Diesel. It's not Vin Diesel, it's Vasily Diesel. Sure, pickpocketing would be really nice, then some kind of further interaction or daily routines or random fistfights would be really cool. I don't think that's how smokes work, but okay. But the AI being unfair and broken and honestly having very little value, especially if you go on the town, as in kill everyone, you notice the lack of value in their inventory very quickly. The world kind of feels empty because of it. Yep. Oh. So... pissing? No, show me, come on! And now we have to talk about the first of the two elephants in the room, the shit-ass garbage performance. Ditching their own made X-ray engine that was cobbled together with duct tape, hopes and intense gopnik squatting, GSC has adopted Unreal Engine. In fact, for the first time when Stalker 2 was announced, it was planned for Unreal Engine 4, but with Unreal 5 releasing just recently and showing off some really cool technologies, it was a great idea to upgrade. Right? Well, yes, for the most part, yes. So first things first, the obvious stuff. Stalker's open world has no loading screens, no real invisible walls. Right, so first things first, I wanted to test out the swimming, right? Okay, knee deep. I see what they're doing. Okay, that's an invisible wall. And while sure, asset streaming has long since been an industry technology standard for open worlds, it still feels like a breath of fresh air when you can walk from one end of the open world to the other, seeing amazing landscapes, characters and more, and nothing is in your way. Then there are games where you still see loading screens at nearly every step of the way that makes the gameplay feel like autoerotic castration with rusty spork. And I think you know exactly who I'm referring to. Hell, the bubble jump trick becomes even more amazing, just because of the asset-streamed environment. You realize just how free the open world is, and it just feels amazing, even allowing you to break the game, either by getting to Pripyat at the start of the game, thanks to the bubble jump trick, or going further and completely going out of bounds and finding areas like unfinished parts of Chernobyl or dev test sites.
Okay, GSE, do not fix this!
However, that's as good as it gets. So first off, the lighting. Like all the other games back in the day, old Stalker games used baked-in lights, or, if you hated your hardware a lot, the game allowed you to turn every light in the scene into a dynamic one, meaning that it was calculated on the spot. And yet to this day, this better lighting, as well as few other things, make the game hold up incredibly well. Stalker 2, however, uses Unreal's Lumin, and only noticeable dynamic lights are your flashlight and one other light in the scene, despite the fact that Lumin in Stalker 2 actually should be using ray tracing. tracing and forcing it on everyone. Well, that is if your graphics card actually can support ray tracing in the first place. And yet every time I have a gunfight indoors, opponent gunfire doesn't seem to illuminate environment correctly, nor does the bonfires or lamps look correctly. But who knows, maybe I'm just overthinking it. In fact, most of the performance problems can be blamed on Lumin almost exclusively. It both makes the game look incredible as well as really shit, which is the thing that you're gonna definitely notice the most. And notice you will a lot of little glitches and constant fuck-ups in the lighting. A lot of these problems you can also notice in all the other itch.io games or more professional cases like Lords of the Fallen that uses Unreal 5 as their engine and Lumin as the lighting system. Also, Lumin is partially responsible why the game looks like a smeary, ugly, grainy bullshit. And that of course is because of the temporal anti-aliasing or Unreal Engine's version of TSR that the whole industry seems to be pushing forward. And yes, the temporal anti-aliasing as well as the fucking upscalers are the main reason why games today look like massive pieces of smeary shit on the windscreen. Cyberpunk, Starfield, Wukong, Resident Evil 2 and many, many other ones. Disgusting! Oh, and there's another thing that I noticed. The clouds. They seem rather flat. I mean, come on guys, you could have literally gone to Shader Toy and copied this. Now, while I was investigating performance and looking up things, I came across the Threat Interactive YouTube channel where they expertly showcased and explained the current problem with graphics programming today. As proper optimization of the game, developers seemingly hand-wave away by abusing shitty practices like temporal anti-aliasing, upscalers, and more, while at the same time attempting to claim that our games have more graphical fidelity than ever. And well, yes, sure, that is true, in still non-moving pictures. Games like Stalker 2 look amazing. However, as soon as there is even slightest bit of motion, the smeariness takes over, providing incredibly ugly gameplay. Also, sadly, I have to report that Threat Interactive decided to abuse DMCA system to take down a fellow creator's video, just because they might have said something defamatory against them. And while Threat Interactive still has plenty of interesting information in their videos, DMCA is not for this purpose, goddammit! And then there's the other culprit of the bad performance for Stalker 2 and most other upcoming Unreal 5 games, Nanite, the automatic level of detail and culling optimization technology. And yet, Stalker's fanbase very quickly noticed this. This likely is the thrust from culling not being quick enough to reintroduce models far away, because the game is relying on Nanite to do the majority of the work rather than tried and true industry standard methods, as in handcrafted and managed stuff. Oh yeah, we got a memory leak. Stalker 2 is taking all of my 112 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I get it. In order to release Stalker 2 quickly and save on certain development stages, the use of Nanite and Lumin is used. Sure, the game looks now gorgeous, but also performs incredibly poorly. So, what do you think will happen after that? Well, of course, the player will turn on upscalers, which will smear the screen even further, and to top it off, use the fakey fake frame generation, which granted does feel really nice, but also introduces noticeable delay in input response, the lower the frame rate is, due to how it works, and that for FPS games is very noticeable and important. So, either the player puts up with this, or this. Utterly everything to lowest. DLSS, no, FSR, yep, that. Frame gen on. Let's see, how much FPS can we actually get out of this thing? And I'm still getting 70. Where are my goddamn frames? Fuck's sake, this can't even reach 100. Can we get to 100? No, we're back to 80. Boy, oh boy, imagine playing it like this. Holy shit. Yep, absolutely everything lowest. We got 34, and that's on the launch version of the game. Yeah, some optimization seems to be required quite a bit, yeah. And at that point, what the fuck is the point of the super detailed graphics when the vast majority of the player base will be playing the game that looks worse than anything from 10 years ago? Or god forbid, a modded version of your old game? Seriously, are we going backwards with this shit? Oh, and remember this chart? Yeah, literally anyone below this line while playing 1080p cannot play the game on epic settings without upscalers with 60 FPS minimum. Now, anyone below this line cannot play the game on the same resolution or frame rate even with all the lowest settings without upscalers, i.e. making the game look like a smeary bullshit that loses most of the quality that the game developers worked so hard on in the first place. So what was the point? And does this not look insane? See, Crysis in 2017 showcased incredible technologies, coding and optimization to push the hardware and the game visuals to its limits. Today's games industry, however, cranks up the polygon count and texture resolution and fucks off. And no, this is not pushing the hardware, this is just shitty mod maker attitude. And that's kind of the thing, as Threat Interactive showcases, the industry, especially graphics programmers, have been suckered into believing that temporal anti-aliasing upscalers and other automatic, if not AI-generated technologies will do all the work for them when it comes to performance optimization. And in case of Bethesda, also the modding community, while not fully realizing that they are literally throwing their art team and their hard work under the bus. Hell, even if you have hardware to run STALKER 2 without any smeary garbage methods, due to Nanite and lack of optimization, the game turns into a pixel grainy garbage instead. So there is no in-between quality setting. And since GSC didn't include the best anti-aliasing method that should be really the only one, the FXAA, in the options, I refuse to use the smeary bullshit in the first place, and honestly it is better, but barely. Yet, I have the luxury of choice. Nearly 90% or more of the players don't have that. And you know the saddest thing is, STALKER 2 still runs below their own advertised numbers.
Oh, but how does Bandit know that? Well, that is my VR PC, and that is low recommended spec machine, more or less. But that one can't even do 30 FPS. That's big pizdец.
And even sadder is that they advertise it with the fucking upscalers in the first place. It finally has come. It finally happened. Game developers resort to using upscalers as part of their recommended spec experiences. Are you kidding me? And you know, I would understand if this would be the best coded technical achievement of the decade. Something like what Crysis attempted to do. But the shittiest part is no one under this line, no matter what they do, will be able to reach 60 FPS. No matter what they turn down, even if the game looks like this. And we're talking about modern, at the time, hardware, let alone anyone who's running a 5-year-old graphics card or older. In fact, the launch version of STALKER 2 had some VRam issues. While running my 11GB RTX 2080 Ti, which by the way is 5 years old, I noticed constant stuttering, and there was no other worse scenario than the Faust fight, which thanks to the shitty AI is easily the worst encounter in the whole game, paired with horrible performance. And I ended up needing all the performance crutches so that my gameplay would look like this. How am I supposed to get close to him? Fuck you, piece of shit! And remember, this is RTX 2080 Ti, the top-line graphics card from 5 years ago, and still occupies the top 70% of the currently available GPUs on the market. And speaking of VRAM, in fact, after testing on the lowest absolute graphics settings, if you have less than 12GB of video memory, you will start to encounter more and more inconsistent frame hitching and stuttering as assets get loaded and unloaded from the memory, as Hardware Unboxed actually tested this.
60 FPS, you will require the 7800 XT or RTX 3080, though the previous generation 10GB GPU did seem to struggle a little bit here with 1% lows, not alarmingly so, but there were noticeable dips. And speaking of dips, the 8GB models were a complete write-off. I would say unplayable by anyone's standards. Now, enabling upscaling does help quite a lot, at least for the lower-end GPUs. It's now possible to achieve 60 FPS using the 6800 XT or 16GB 4060 Ti. The point is, 8GB graphics cards can even run into performance issues at 1080p with upscaling in this title. So the 8GB graphics cards are now running within their VRAM limits using the high preset at native 1080p,
Now, we all understand why Stalker 2 was cut down, why it got delayed, and why it's not optimized. Hell, even developers themselves admitted at least most of it, and I'm sympathetic. I do want the game and the folk behind it to go and do great things, and from the looks of things, they might just do that. However, Stalker 2 is also a symptom of the industry-wide incompetence and bullshit. Oh, the Lumin is so great, oh, the Nanite is so cool, you don't need to optimize things, it'll do it for you. Oh, the temporal anti-aliasing is so good for performance, we can crank up the screenshot-worthy textures and models. No, fuck you and fuck the horse you rode in on. Sure, you can dismiss this as Yamiks being the layman at best at times when it comes to this sort of stuff, but the industry professionals already showcased how shit this attitude towards the smeary bullshit ends up being, even pushing us backwards when it comes to good-looking games. Still, every single one of us can boot up Cyberpunk, Starfield, or any other Ubisoft failed bullshit game in the last 5 years and see how something is wrong. Something just does not look good. And why is there Vaseline in my eyes? While booting up, say, Doom 2016 or Eternal, Ghost Runner, Dishonored, or even older games like Half-Life 2, Crisis, Fear, and many other ones, to find that while not using AA solutions, the game still looks crisp, clean, and solid. Now, why is that? Oh, and as for the pre-order as well as deluxe bonuses, come on guys, you should have simply sold the game for higher price, that's it. Fuck these extra versions and FOMO nonsense.
It hurts thinking about it all. You'll be back home in 3 days, they said. But there was nowhere to go back to.
And now we have to talk about the other elephant in the room, the development. Now, of course, I'm not gonna be boring you with all the nitty-gritty stuff, so here's a rundown.
2010, a year after Call of Pripyat release, we got the first announcements of Stalker 2. 2011, developer announces basically dissolvement of the company. 2014, years later, fans notice a webpage stalker2.com being purchased and a mock Stalker 2 wallpaper appearing. The company itself is given over to the current leadership and work begins on the current version of Stalker 2, including Unreal Engine 4 use, which just released that year. 2018, GSC is hard at work to make some kind of promotional demo game ready for E3 that year, to attract some kind of investment, more specifically, Microsoft. And then, just a few years later, 2021.
However, nobody would predict what horrors would follow.
It started before dawn. Ukraine woke to explosions around the capital, Kiev.
The Russian president says a military operation is now underway in eastern Ukraine.
But this is what Russian President Vladimir Putin unleashed on Ukraine as the sun came up.
Right, I'll try to be as brief as I can on this from my point of view. 1918, Latvia declares independence. By the end of 1930s, Latvia, though stumbling, is prospering greatly. With the upcoming World War II, 1939, Latvia is forced by the Soviet Pideruskis to sign the Mutual Assistance Pact, which is nothing more than the forced annexation of the whole country. And then World War II, and we pretty much know what happened there. And once it was over, did we get our independence back? Fuck no! Over the next 60 years, Soviet Russia, would subjugate and Russify its satellite states, often brutally so. Kidnapping children or sending whole families to Siberia, killing off old government officials, you know, the typical Ruski Mir shit. So then skipping to modern day, 3 years ago, when we all witnessed the devastation of the 3-day special rape, operation, and I, while streaming or making videos, got asked the question of, well, Yamiks, you live nearby, what do you think? The fuck you think I was thinking? There's no amount of disgust, hate, and loathing I can express for anyone supporting, even remotely, what Russia did. So I held off even slightly commenting on these events, instead relegating that task to this review. And I know how fucked it is that at the end of this silly game review, we have to talk about the fucking war and politics. But the fact of the matter is, we should not ignore these real-world consequences and circumstances of development of our favorite games. So, fuck you if you're one of those people who say, well, keep the politics and all that other stuff out of our games.
Sadly, that's not how reality works, you dipshit! Now, sure, it is funny at times to see the orc-engineered cope cages, or electric scooter warfare, or prisoners of Russia being sent to the front lines with rusty-up World War II rifles, or the countless amounts of stuck BMPs or exploded Russian tanks. Now sure, we can all say fuck Ruski and see all the Vatnik bots and truly delusional retards start spazzing as if somebody's tasing their balls with a goddamn card battery as soon as you point out anything absurd about, well, Russian anything. And we can look at Ukrainian troops in a truly inspiring light as they are fighting off this world power. Hell, we can even take a modest glee in seeing Russia being invaded by Ukraine in turn, and doing so without stealing toilets, washing machines, or children.
Ukrainians are grinding down Russian offensive capabilities, pushing them ever closer to complete culmination.
Or needing to buy ammo or troops from fucking North Korea. However, the only thing that stopped me from spewing a vile hatred at the fucking orcs in that 3-day special operation is Yamiks itself. These ideas and ideals that symbolizes, well, this icon. I crafted to be considerate, something that would be forcing me to look at everything and be unyielding. You see, precisely, contrary to the icon itself, Yamiks knows it's not just black and white. There are different people living different lives. And in fact, there are people who support and oppose the war for various different reasons, even inside Russia. But most of all, at the end of the day, what Yamiks forces me to acknowledge is this picture. The near million lost lives on Russian side alone, near million dead orcs or enemies or Rusis, whatever you want to call them. To Yamiks, those are people. Bad ones, sure, there are some of them. Good ones, yeah, those are there too as well, but mostly those are just people. People with their own lives. No matter how you slice it, Yamiks forces me to see this picture as one of sorrow and loss. After all, Russians are not the only ones dying, are they? For us in the gaming sphere, the real-world consequences often go unnoticed. However, at the end of Stalker 2, as I finished the game, watching the credits, seeing over 130 names go by in the "in memory of" section is just heart-wrenching. And that's just a small part of this unnecessary bullshit war. As for the development itself, well, during the invasion, the starting months of it in fact, the developer GSC was inundated with attempts to hack by Russians to get the files of the game and more. And some of them even succeeded. Oh, and then there was this interesting, really pathetic attempt at buying reviews, negative reviews for the game, because of course. Now, the fact is, the game is also banned in Russia, and also they're not being sold in Russia, so there was this interesting article also popping up as a conspiracy theory that, the players of Stalker 2 are now being conscripted in the data shared, and they're getting people for military, and bravo Vatniks and Rus bots, you made me laugh. Dipshits. But hey, as an anecdote, the Stalker series has actually helped someone in the front lines.
Я без приколу на повному серйозі можу сказати, якщо ти не хочеш нормально навчити стріляти з подствола, чи совєтського, чи америкоса, блядь, реально, іграйте, задрочуйте в Сталкер. Ну я вам клянусь, я на Сталкері не навчився стріляти, хуль ти тікаєш звідси. Дивись, зараз перед посадкою попаду. А? Сталкер, блядь.
So how do you even begin to review a game like that, knowing all that's going on? Well, I tried having some silly, goofy stuff and be my asshole-ish self. Yet there is very bright light for the game and the country it was made in. After 3 fucking years, the Pideruskis have yet to make any headway while ruining their own country even further. While Ukraine, well, I think Laserpick had a great quote.
As one Ukrainian soldier put it, we weren't a nation before, but now we are.
As for Stalker 2, well, I already mentioned that level designers alone have convinced me that they love the game. It just needs more. Side activities, quests, loot variety, and AI, and a few other things. But the game itself already pays respectful homage to old games while building on new foundation, and... Oh, they left the Freeman reference, finally! Oh, fuck. I suppose this is my inner STALKER fanboy speaking, but their work thus far has convinced me that it will truly become something not just good, but great. And speaking of success, STALKER already has sold over 1 million copies and recently announced their development cost being recouped, so now it's nothing but greatness awaiting, and maybe stuff beyond it. So thank you, GSC, both old and the new teams. You made something truly amazing and continue inspiring. I can't wait to see what you bring out next. Oh yeah, there was also supposed to be multiplayer at some point. Oh! Oh no!
No, blah! Ой, блин.